Hey guys, welcome back to Game Club, the show where every month we get together and talk about the games we've been playing recently. I haven't done one of these in a very long time, but I just miss the community aspect of it, you know? If you're new, here's how it works. You guys recommend some games that you've been playing this month, and I'll talk about those games next month. Because it's been so long and we're coming close to the end of the year, this Game Club is going to be a bit loosey-goosey. The theme this time around is backlog games. These are games I played this year that I didn't do a full review on, so I figured Game Club is the best excuse to talk about them. Starting with a pretty big one, Trails in the Sky. I made the irresponsible decision to start one of the longest game franchises of all time this year. Trails currently has like 10 games in the series, and each game is connected by one long-running storyline and world that evolves through every game. I've been told it's the One Piece of video games, so after all 5 stages of grief, I decided to dive in at the very beginning with Trails in the Sky. It's a classic turn-based RPG that came out in 2004, and yeah, honestly, the fact that the game is 20 years old was a bit of a turnoff at first, but I gotta admit, I had a pretty good time with it. You play as Estelle and Joshua Brights, 2 up-and-coming bracers on a mission to find their missing father. It's super simple for a 50-hour-long storyline, but I honestly kind of liked that about it. Not having an overly complicated storyline left a lot of room for the characters and world building to shine. Just from this game alone, I think Estelle is one of my favorite protagonists. Her character arc throughout this game is honestly kind of beautiful. She starts off a little overconfident and hot-headed, but without spoiling anything, she really grows in a meaningful way. Joshua, on the other hand, was probably my least favorite character right until the end. He's used as the classic exposition dump character, and they chalk it up to him just being a smart overachiever, but they make this guy literally flawless, and that gets a little annoying. I'll say that in the last 10 minutes of the 50-hour-long journey, Joshua does get redeemed a little bit, and you start to understand why he is the way he is, but this is only the first chapter of the series, so for now, I don't like the guy. The world building, though, is where Trails in the Sky shines the brightest. I assume this is the reason why the series is so popular and able to keep people invested through each game. Even just the small kingdom of Liberal is really impressive. There's a ton of lore when it comes to the Bracer Guild and the politics of each city and everyday people who live within them. The world itself is rapidly changing throughout the game, so stuff like the Liberal newspaper that releases a new issue you can buy from the store every chapter, and just talking to locals about current events is an amazing attention to detail that goes a really long way. Although it's definitely not a perfect experience, it's a great starting point for a massively intimidating series to get into, and also it's aged pretty well for a 2004 game. I'm excited to see where the story goes next. I honestly don't think I'd recommend Trails to anybody for how much of an investment it is, but Trails in the Sky by itself is a really good game, so don't be scared to give it a try. Next up, the most recent game I played is Neon White. I absolutely love this game. It was in my top 10 games of the year video a couple weeks ago, but that doesn't do it enough justice. I really want you guys to try this game because not only do I think anybody could pick it up and enjoy it, I also think that there's really nothing quite like it out there. Neon White is a first-person platformer with an emphasis on speedrunning. The game by itself is fairly simple. You really just gotta get from point A to point B. However, once you figure out that a 2-minute long level can be cut down to 30 seconds, that's where things get really interesting. As someone who's always been just a bit too intimidated by speedrunning video games, but has always been thoroughly interested in the speedrunning community, Neon White is a perfect entry point for beginners. Speedrunning certainly isn't required. Neon White has a pretty solid story, and the special mechanics and schmovements, if you will, are interesting by themselves, but pushing those mechanics and yourself to your limit to get a really fast time on a level is really what makes this game special. I don't think I've grinded a game like this in a long time. There's a secret medal you can unlock for every level by beating the developer's time, and I spent way too many hours trying to collect them all, but you know what? I don't regret it. Also, haven't even mentioned it yet, the soundtrack for this game is phenomenal. Machine Girl is the electronic music duo that worked on Neon White, and basically every song in the game is a banger. If you're like me and you listen to those PS1 drum and bass jungle mixes on YouTube, you're definitely gonna dig this soundtrack. So yeah, please play Neon White. I think literally anybody would like this game. I also played Catherine this year. This one's a bit harder to pitch, but you know what? I'm gonna try to explain it in as little words as possible. This is a cheat on your big titty anime girlfriend simulator with puzzle mechanics. If you're already sold, what the hell is wrong with you? What kind of sick freak likes puzzle games? No, but seriously, this has been on my backlog for a while because it's developed by Atlas, the same people who make my favorite series, the Persona games. Is Catherine a weird game? Yeah, but in a good way, I think. So here's the deal. You play as Vincent, a dude who's been in a long-term relationship with a girl named Catherine. She wants to take things to the next level and get married, but he's kind of a hot mess and is scared of commitments. Then one night he gets real drunk and meets a different girl also named Catherine. One thing leads to another, and now his life is in an even bigger mess. There's a lot of really intense moments. Because this game is 90% cutscenes, it plays out like a thriller, and I gotta be honest, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Catherine's story is very mature for a video game. It mostly deals with themes of infidelity, but also asks the player a lot of morally gray questions about life and relationships and what it means to be a good person. It's not always easy to root for Vincent because he makes some stupid decisions, but at the same time, the game puts you in his shoes, and I kept asking myself, would I really have handled things any better? I hope so, but you know, I don't know. And yeah, there's puzzles in the game too. They're actually pretty fun, but come on, why are we all here? It's that juicy anime drama, baby. Catherine as a story by itself is a lot of fun, so I think if any of this sounds interesting to you, you'll probably like it. Now those were all really big games, but if you don't want to commit to something like that, don't worry, I got some smaller games to recommend as well. Powerwash Simulator is as boring as it sounds, and I just love it. If you've ever spent hours watching power washing TikToks like I have, first of all, I feel your pain. But also, I bring great news. Powerwash Simulator is exactly what it sounds like. Not any more, not any less. You just take your power washer and magic happens. There's not a lot I can say about this game other than that it's satisfying as hell. And I'm always looking for games that I can just turn my brain off, you know, throw on some music or a podcast and just spray shit. It's also free with PlayStation Plus for the rest of the month, so yeah, I can't recommend it enough. And if that's the opposite of your vibe, try Jump King. I love hating this game, and I don't think that's a hot take. Games like this that are designed to make you angry are like drugs to me. This is like if you were to microdose the feeling Dark Souls gives you. It's extremely frustrating, but also really rewarding. The mechanics may be as simple as one button, but your timing and precision really improves over time, which makes reaching the end very satisfying. If you played Getting Over It, this won't be anything new, but it has its own charm and unique art style, and I just think it's a really solid indie game. But yeah, that's our lineup for this month's Game Club. Remember, if you want your game and comment to be featured in next month's Game Club, tell me what you've been playing. This is a safe space, I swear. Okay, y'all, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.